dear rebounding friends, hello and welcome to the Strong Bone Commitment. I'm very happy to see you here, and it's an exciting time. You know, we start a 3-month program, which is really quite something. You and us will all be together through the fall, through Halloween. We will be together when we're doing our Christmas preparations, and still we're on our rebounder, and that's what we want to do. You know, whatever comes up in our life, that we still at least do a little bit of rebounding, so that it is a continuous working. It's like brushing our teeth or combing us when we're coming in the morning and see us in the mirror. You know, it's a thing which shall become second nature, because all of us, we all are concerned with bone density, and we know that it's not a nice to have, you know, to do the training which we need, but it's really an obligation in order to stay healthy and to have strong bones for the rest of our lives. So yeah, today we will do a little bit of a repeat, because it's important that we are again on the same page. We will look into the alignment and the feet positioning and all this basic stuff, so in order to make sure that everyone is safe and can rebound in full health and full efficiency. Let's just go into it. So the first thing what I want to show you is how we place the feet on the rebounder, and I show it here because it's easier to see than when I'm on the rebounder. So you take your right heel and you put it next to your left big toe, put the foot down, and then stand on the right toes and bring the foot down. With that, you come automatically in the right distance between the feet, which is the hips width. So the width which we have here in between the hips. And then the next thing is that you want to stand parallel. That means here parallel, that these insides of the feet are parallel. And then the third thing is, and you probably know that all, is that we don't want to pronate, we don't want to fall in the ankles here at the feet. Let me show it to you. We don't want to fall in here in the middle. We want to keep our heel bone in a 90-degree angle to the floor or to the mat. So let's just go on the rebounder. One thing which I want to show you before I go on the rebounder is how our weight is distributed when we're on the rebounder, and specifically when we are parallel bouncing. That means with both feet at the same time. So we don't want to lean backwards, we don't want to lean forward. How we want to stand on a rebounder is in the most safest possible position, and that is a tripod. You know, a tripod, when you have a stool, a tripod, is very difficult to tumble it over, and that's what we want to do with our feet. And I show you how the weight will be distributed. We have most of the weight on the heel, here on the heel bone, 50%. And then we have 25% under the big toe and 25% under the little toe. So that's how our tripod is standing when we are doing the parallel bouncing. The next thing is that we make sure that our knees are unlocked. We don't want to have the knees locked like that. We also don't want to be too much down. So you just be comfortably, you know, just have them loose, but not locked here. Yeah, because when we lock them, then the bounce is going into our body. We just want to have the bounce going through our body. So the ideal thing is when we are in the correct alignment, the weight of our body is not even afflicting our body. It just drops through our body. When we have the right alignment, the body weight is just dropping through our bones, through the heels, down in the floor. You know? If we are leaning forward, then our muscles and our tendons have to catch the weight. If we are leaning backward, it's the same thing. So we want to be in a completely upright position. And an image which helps me always to do so is to think that my head is a balloon which is floating up in the air, just floating up, you know. And the highest point of my head is also at the highest point, you know, floating up in the air, you know. I don't want to have the neck back, I don't want to have the head forward, because then my highest point is not here. My highest point should always be like I'm hanging on this thread, you know. Okay, so that's how we do it. At the same time, you can often just see if you're having the head back or having the head forward in watching where your eyes are. Your eyes should just be like on the horizon. You know, if you're looking down or if you're looking up, that usually means that your head is not in the complete upright position. And then the next thing is that you imagine, or you can imagine, that your spine is just hanging on this balloon like a thread. So it's just hanging there. And so we have now the part which moves us upwards and then downwards. You can imagine you have a very heavy cord or an anchor hanging on your tailbone. And this anchor is going deep, deep, deep into the earth. If you like to work with pictures, you can just imagine it goes through the house, it goes into, here in Florida we have sand, it goes into the sand, it goes down through the sand, it goes in the middle of the earth, and around this metal ball, this iron ball in the middle of the earth that you just wiggle it around, you know, and then you have a really, really nice grounding cord. So you have the grounding cord, and you have the balloon which goes up, the thread which pulls you upwards, and along this alignment we are bouncing, yeah? Very nicely, softly bouncing. And you can just do it together with me. And breathing, breathe in and out. The breath is something which is a very natural thing. Don't do it. Just observe the breath coming into you and floating out of you. Just observe it. Just be aware of it and invite it to come in, like you invite a friend, you know, you hug a good friend, you know, hug it. So that's how you invite the breath coming in. And let the breath go out. And invite it in and let it go out. And then, where we also have a look at is now our shoulders, you know. For a moment, just pull the shoulders up towards the ears so that you get a feeling how that feels, and then drop them down. Okay. And again, pull them up, and drop them down. And this dropping, like this really, really hanging feeling, that's what we want to keep. And you can always do a sighing and just release tension which is in the body, might be in the body, and which is leaving our bodies now. Yeah. So that is the basic alignment, you know, and this is something which we always want to establish before we go into any rebounding exercise, and we try to keep it alive throughout the exercise. Sometimes we might forget it, you know, but what I recommend is that in the beginning and at the end we just control it. We just look, are my feet still okay? Am I pronating now, or are my feet still in a 90-degree angle to the floor? By the way, in order to have the feet in a 90-degree angle, in case you are pronating, the only thing which you need to do is to put more weight on the outside of the heels. With that, you just move the feet like 1 millimeter or 2 in the correct positioning, so that you have, again, a 90-degree angle to the floor of the heel bone. Yeah? So at the end, on the beginning and the end, we are just controlling. You can often also see with the knees if you're pronating. Just have a look how it looks like, how my knees look like when I pronate. Do you see that they're falling in? Here. And if I am standing correctly, there again in a nice angle. The knees always should look forward, you know. It's like a car. You have the lights in front because you want to see something. Just imagine these are lights and you want to see what's going on there. Yeah? Okay. And so the parallel bounce, you know, that's the health bounce. And there, when you do that, just get a feeling about the weight distribution where we just spoke about with the tripod. So you have a bit more weight when you're bouncing down on the heel. And you also have weight under the big toe and under the little toe. If you have too much weight on the back, you will fall backwards. If you have too much weight on the front, you'll fall forward. Yeah? Okay, look, that feels really safe. And then when I bounce like that, there are different ways to provoke that bouncing. I can use my hands, you know, I'm not doing anything with the feet now. I just do my arms. Yeah? I do the chicken wings. Or I use my feet, and with the feet, what I do is I press a little bit the heel down in the mat. So I'm not using my arms now. I'm pressing the heels down in the mat. And that's how I provoke the bounce, and then I just let it go. Bounce, bounce, down, 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 down. Voila. And that's the health bounce, which is the basic bounce, the parallel bouncing, it's the same, and which provokes already the lymphatic fluid to move. It provokes our chi, our energy to move, so that everything keeps in a circulation, you know. And the blood, of course, the blood flow is moving too, you know, because there's movement and as pressing. You can imagine that the calves, your calves, you know, we call them in Germany the second heart, because the calves are pumping the lymph fluid back in our system, and that's what's happening when you're on the rebounder. And the deepest point, you know, there's a contraction and it pumps up the lymph fluid up into the system. And then, of course, with the gravity, it comes down again, and then you pump it up again. So like that, it stays in a nice rotation movement. So that's the parallel bouncing. The alternating bouncing is when we move left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. Again, here I press the heel of the foot which goes down into the mat. Voila. At the moment I'm not yet leaving the mat. Later we can also leave the mat. But for the moment I'm just standing with the foot the whole time in relationship, in contact with the mat. For doing the stomp, I choose one standing leg and then one moving leg. So at the moment I say that my right leg is the standing leg, and I put all my weight on there so that the left leg is free. And with the left leg now, I stomp down, and in fact what I do is I'm pushing the heel down in the floor. So it's really like stomp, 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 like something like that, you know. So again, this is my stable leg, and I come in a bounce. This one is free still, you know. I come a little bit in a bounce so that I have a rhythm. And then with this rhythm, I use my free leg and stomp down. So it goes like stomp, 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 stomp. And in the beginning, just do just a little bit leaving the mat. You don't need to go too high. Later we do things like that, you know. But for the moment, we just do very tiny ones so that you are stable. Yeah. And for those of you who have a TheraBand, you can use a TheraBand to have stability here. We can speak about that also in the next time. Then I'll show you how to do that. The ones who are using TheraBands already, they know what I'm speaking about. Okay, so that's stomping on one side, and then at some point you say, now I'm going on the other side. This one becomes now the stable leg. This is the free one, and we stomp with the right leg. Stomp, 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 stomp. And that is a great thing because it really triggers our bones, you know. We get the right impact so that the bones are knowing they have to do something to get strong. And then you can alternate, you know, stomp, 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 stomp. Okay, that's it for today. I wish you a good continuation and I see you very soon. Bye bye. Ciao.